everybody. Hang on here. I wasn't quite ready. It's Wednesday again. It's the Wednesday night mouse party. And let me get this going since DJ was kind enough to remind me. There we go. There's the email, untechnicalfoss@gmail.com, and the link that'll get you somewhere if you want to send in comments, questions, suggestions, or pictures within reason. You can send them via that way. Or Gilded. There's a link in the description for the Gilded server. It's a place to hang out, chit-chat, share pictures, memes, stuff like that. You can always get a hold of me there if you want to. And so tonight we've got DJ Play Nice. How's it going, DJ?
It's going well, boss. Glad to be here tonight.
And G Webs, how you doing?
Fair to Midland. Thanks for the link.
And Baron.
Yep.
Sleepy Baron.
Yep.
Excuse me. So out there we had DJ. He was out there. G23. Big Al stopping in to say hi. So far, that's it. Maybe a small crowd tonight. I almost forgot to schedule the chat again. This morning, I was fiddling around and loading up stuff, and apparently forgot to actually schedule it while I was fiddling around and loading up stuff. Hey, we got PA Reloader. Good evening. But let me make sure I've got. There we go. Last week's. Let me share this screen. I gotta find it right. There we go. Last week's poll, the best action hero. We had some late voting, and Bruce Lee pulled ahead. 29%. I really thought Chuck Norris would have won that one, but this week's poll, let me click over to the comments, was best kind of pet. A dog is bad man's best friends. Cats are kooky and independent. Fish are calming. Reptiles are badass. And any animal companion except monkeys, they'll rip your face off.
And
yes,
your dick.
I am aware that monkeys is misspelled. Once I realized I misspelled monkeys, people had already started voting, and I would have had to delete the poll and throw up another one. So I just left it.
I should do a new poll. How to spell monkeys.
But so dogs ran away with it, which I kind of thought it would. 65%, so by quite a big margin. Cats or any animal companion took second, except monkeys. They'll rip your face off. Cats are kooky and independent, 15%. Fish and reptiles got 1%, so probably one person each voted for that. I thought reptiles might get a little more than that. Oh. I've never had a reptile pet. I've had fish, cats, dogs, had a rat, hamsters, birds.
Are turtles reptiles?
Yes.
I've never had a turtle, so.
Reptiles are cool because they're like fish because you don't have to deal with them as often as like a dog, but you can play with them. So unlike fish where you just have to look at them, some reptiles you can fiddle with.
G23 said that is funny since 90% of 2A channels have cats. I don't know if that's statistically accurate or not, but
People can have cats and then not consider them a pet more than people have dogs and not consider them a pet. Like you have to have some kind of ranch, something going on to have dogs and not consider them a pet. But tons of people have cats around and just be like, "Oh, that's the cat."
He's
And you
just
can
here.
have a pet and not consider it to be the best pet because you have one and you know better.
Like a monkey that'll rip your face off.
Yeah.
Come on,
Your dick.
was it? I haven't seen one sitcom about a monkey that had any violence in it at all.
Well, that's because, well, that's not Friends. Their monkey. He started getting violent. That's why they had to get rid of him.
No, I didn't see that show.
They sent him to a farm.
The animal control came after them, and they tranquilized Phoebe on accident. But so for the comments, Night Shaft said, "I'm equally attached to my dogs and my cat, and I'm going to say both. Best pet is a combination of the two. It's like putting Trump and Ted Cruz in a room and watching them fight for hours." G-Web said, "I feel like as a monkey enthusiast, my options are limited. DJ Play Nice was quoting Clouseau. Do you have a license for that monkey? Caucasian Sasquatch was asking birds or perhaps pet rock. And the guy who comments, where's the bird option? And remember, I can only put so many options, so something inevitably gets left out. Music Logic said dogs, anything else is for hipsters and soy boys. Yeah, I wanted to read. I was curious on the psychology of pets. You know, why people like pets and want to have pets, and I didn't do that. I still need to do that. I'm curious. For dogs, they say it was mutually beneficial. For cavemen, early ancestors, the dogs would keep watch at night and help hunt, and the dogs would get food from the hunt. But I do, I enjoy having pets. I would like to have a koi pond, but the video I put up yesterday of the pond shows why I can't have fish. It's a blue heron eating the fish and frogs in the pond. That's on my Instagrams.
Are you allowed to consider them a pest and control their population numbers?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. What would George Washington do?
Well, George Washington was before the migrating bird law, policy, whatever it is. There's a lot of birds you can't.
Infringements. Take care of that heron.
Those, I don't know. They are neat to watch. They'll sit on the house, and then when they're looking at the pond, they'll sit up on the roof. And I can tell when they've been there because there's these large bird poops on the roof.
Even worse. You know what? Maybe if you got a pet monkey and tied it up next to the pond, that'd take care of itself.
Pierre Reloader said, "My cat is pretty cool. I'll be sitting in the library and he will just chill on my lap. Love dogs too." Oh, I was going to show. I'll have to send it myself. I forgot that I did that.
You can make a tea out of hair and poop.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Which animal will care when you die? How about that?
A dog.
Did you show the screen over here? Or is that too creepy?
Yeah, I can. Hang on here.
So this is going up to a robot AI and typing in Wednesday night mouse party, and it came up with all this creepy stuff. So I figured this is a lot what it looked like backstage with all the chocolate chip cookies and sushi and pineapples. It looked a lot like this. And we were all eating really fast. And then with all the lights and stuff in here, it kind of looks like this a little bit. I got my later hosing on, so it's working. I don't know what DJ's got going on over here, but that's DJ's area, I think.
It looks like DJ's dropping acid.
They made this monkey out of carpet. I don't know what they're thinking here. And then this is Baron. Maybe it's bow and arrow. Can't tell.
Do I have a stripper pole?
I don't know what's going on there. I thought it was a martini. And then I don't know who the audience is. Is this the audience? I don't know what's going on with that extra ear, but maybe hanging out by kids wasn't a good idea. So this is a free AI. So you may have heard of artificial intelligence, and now you get to fiddle with it. What should I type in there? I'll type something in there right now. I'm not afraid. This is how you work AI. You just type stuff in there. When you got a free one like this, you can play with.
Put in DJ Play Nice. See what it shows us.
Snap. That's going to be good. Like DJ with a period.
Any way you want to throw it down, man. Let's see what happens.
It takes a couple of seconds, so
Got to think about it.
There's no way to anticipate. So here's some ASMR.
Let's see if I'm on an acid trip in this one.
Oh, everything's super weird and creepy. I think what happens is, from what I've read, is this is effectively a logarithm that takes those things and tries to break it down into whatever, right? Some elements like, oh, okay, I know what a DJ is, I know what play is, I know what nice is. And then it looks at everything it knows is first pictures, I guess. And then it tries to make collages out of the elements of those pictures. So sometimes it looks like a crazy science fiction landscape, or sometimes it looks like a nightmare. Often it looks like a creepy nightmare.
Yeah, acid aside, I've seen some pretty trippy results from using this thing. Some really ironic ones too. Whoa!
Oh snap!
Wrong kind of
I
play.
never thought that sports came out of it.
Me neither.
Definitely a football player of some sort without a real normal face. I would have never thought that came out of DJ Play Nice.
Is DJ a robot?
He's a football player, obviously. I don't even pay attention to sports, so he looks like he played on blue teams and a red team and two different green teams, and he played one-armed basketball for a while.
Somebody please trade me for Miami.
That's weird. That is so weird.
Yeah, put in Baron. Let's see what it does for Baron.
Just plain Baron, or
It's going to have Donald Trump's kid.
Baron Von, or just Baron?
Whatever you think.
What is the real thing? Baron Von what?
Greenback.
Silas von Greenback.
Or scalable vector graphics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. So if you watch Danger Mouse, that's the enemy of Danger Mouse. So if you watch that cartoon, you get it. You know, the James Bond has the guy with the cat who's always petting.
Blofeld.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's Baron in the Danger Mouse cartoon.
Except he pets a caterpillar.
So there's a bunch of these ones, and a lot of them let you fiddle with it, but you can't have the picture when you're done. Or they let you fiddle with it, and you can only use the picture for showing it to your friends or something. But they're real picky about being able to use the final result. I found this one, though. Oh, snap. I found this one that, because it makes sense, because of Baron and Vaughn.
That's not good.
No. This one looks like a wealthy pig baron, maybe. This one I don't know what you're getting all pissed about here. Come on.
I think I'm on trial for something bad.
Yeah.
Probably wearing these pants. This is right when you sneeze. They're like, don't blink. And you're like, oh.
My face is falling off. Yeah, that's not good.
That's interesting because it didn't even pick anything from the cartoon. Is anybody saying to pick anything out of here?
No.
I'll put in G23. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, G23 was saying put chicken wire across the top of the pond. Yeah, that always looks bad.
If you had a monkey, it could just scare off whatever birds are bothering.
Until it started eating the fish itself. But let me show this real quick while it's calculating there. That's my puppy I have now. That's Jack. He's half Jack Russell, half Chihuahua. So is
he the size of a Chihuahua, but he looks like a Jack Russell?
He looks like a Jack Russell. Basically, his head and his tail are Chihuahua, but his heart and his soul are Jack Russell. Oh, we got Vanessa Kitty out there.
Oh, it made a Glocks. Made a bunch of weird looking Glocks. Look at what's going on with this one. Insert Glock joke. This is the holster for it, I guess. It's the new CZ that's coming out. Trigger inside of a trigger. I don't know what he's got going on here. Is it laying eggs?
Is this when two Glocks
Jelly
have
bean?
a baby?
That's the kind of creepy stuff the internet thinks G23.
Glock shit and intermarry.
You can go screenshot and it takes the picture, and then I could go to this one and take screenshot, and then all they ask you to do is leave a credit to their AI that made it, which I think is fair since they got a creepy AI making this weird stuff. But anyway, I just thought it was neat because I hadn't found any that lets you use the images once you've made them.
Hey, we got Mario Mosen.
I have an
What up, yo?
idea. Do you still have that open?
I do, yeah. What do you want?
Bruce Lee versus Arnold Schwarzenegger from last week. That's going to be hard to spell.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell any of that. I hope it'll... Yeah. Nope. Swagger. It's not swagger. There it is. You don't even have to get close to spelling it, and the internet's like, oh, you mean Arnold. Oh, I'll put it back on. I have, I can show you some of the weird crap I came up with already that I invented with the robot earlier today. Where'd I put it? So there was, I tried to make a Doberman attack a robot. Oops. Oh, and then a monkey attacking a robot. So here's a monkey fighting a robot in the 1980s. And it almost looks like Mechagodzilla fighting a little baboon or something. Can I make it? So there's some close-ups of the monkey robot battle from... Right? Crazy. And then here's Doberman puppy landing on the moon, because back in the day I used to have a section of my website devoted to my puppy being the first. Nobody's going to get nightmares.
What the hell?
Wow.
Who's uglier?
Why is Arnold naked in this one? Oh, because of the Terminator.
Yep.
It's Bruce Lee's 1-inch weird foot thing.
He needs Bruce Lee's pants.
Oh, look at this one.
Give me your keys in your pants.
Then I put in cartoon Doberman fighting evil robot in a medieval forest. So it came up with a bunch of cartoons because you can give it qualifier like cartoon. And then I gave it giant bacon sandwich given to a fluffy white puppy. And I got a bunch. And then I said it again, and it gave me a bunch of new. Oh, it said a girl puppy. And then it gave it like a pink background and a bunch of different ones. But I couldn't get mellow. But it gave me a whole bunch of awesome looking bacon sandwiches. And then I said AK-47 made out of a cookie held by a green army man. And it made some creepy stuff. And then I made a Starburst AK-47 one time. So I tried to tell the internet to do that. And it made all these weird looking AK-47s made out of candies. And then I said, make a pistol as big as Earth in space. So it came up with a bunch of weird stuff. I like that one, though. And then I said Cape Gunworks, because I was listening to Cape Gunworks at the time. And it came up with these weird looking guns. I put in gun websites, and it came up with this weird shit. Gear websites. How cool is that? Like, I really like that one. And then I put in marshmallow fluffy white girl puppy and got, I don't know, baby puppy mellows maybe. Got this weird picture of a Swiss Shepherd puppy made out of marshmallows. Then I got weird shit here. And then I put in El Camino popping a wheelie past a big dinosaur and got all these cool ones. And then I just put in Mouse Party. So there's the end. And then the weird Bruce Lee one. So if anybody wants to play, I'll drop the link. All they ask is that you give them a whatever credit for using their robot.
I think the best one's in the middle.
Yeah, that weird it is. And what's neat is I know that like I've seen people doing furniture and shoes and just things that you might want to make that are different from the rest because they look different, like design creatively, like, and they'll go into an AI like this and say, give me a pair of shoes that's pink but has a new laces, and then the robot will just come up with weird stuff, but then that gives them that spark to go, oh, I'm going to go make the shoes look like this now. So that it's like inspiration. It's like if you get any kind of block, you can let the robot just throw some crazy sketches at you.
It's kind of cool and kind of unnerving.
Thinking about what this is the beginning of is super unnerving. And here's there's other ones. You can find ones that you can say, like, give me a resume. And it'll just be like, here's a resume.
Oh, I mean, there's no stopping it. So let me see. Hello to CNT Designs and Arms. Hey, Coop.
Well,
how's
every
it going?
time it learns. And it doesn't get worse. It just gets smarter all the time. So sort of like when Google, does anybody remember when Google didn't know nothing yet? And then they started doing all the, what is that called? The
CAPTCHA.
Yeah, the CAPTCHA things. And then they started figuring stuff out. And then they were like, well, let's just read every book on the planet Earth. And then they figured out OCR. And then they figured out, or they made it where you could talk to type, or, you could talk and it would turn it into words. All that stuff was so that Google could, just accomplish and get better or whatever. So this is that sort of beginning when they're letting us play with the AI, is when it's learning. Once it learns, though, it never forgets. Like, it just always gets better every single day incrementally. Oh, I should tell it to make me a drone. So make a new robot.
How's the AR build coming?
It is coming along. I think I ordered the last of the parts I needed. The gas block should be out in the mailbox. I didn't get the mail today. And what else did I need? Oh, the bulk carrier group is on its way. I ordered a Aero Precision, And I had to get a new comp. Or not, the muzzle device that I ordered wasn't even paying attention, and I got the wrong thread pitch. So, which is why I have a few different muzzle devices laying around from doing that before. So I got one that we'll see how it is, and it'll get us shooting, and then if I don't like it, I can change it out. So hopefully in another week or so, I can start putting the rifle together. Should I make a video of that? Showing what I can show?
Sure. Make a video, do whatever you want. Post that on GunTube and GunStreamer, whatever you might post it, and then just make an edited, abbreviated one that you put on YouTube. And maybe
Am I
even
wrong?
just black it out and say this is available on GunTube for unedited or unaltered.
You can show a disassembly video, right? Just not an assembly.
Pretty
Like
sure
a
you can do
build?
whatever you want. I think you can do whatever you want. They've got humans checking it. They're just trying to stop people from being abusive and stuff. So I don't think there's too much to worry about.
Plus, you're not monetized, so
Yeah, exactly.
They're some of them they uphold. That's just the one thing that I don't want. G23 was asking why didn't I just drive over? Because I did order it from Arrow, which is probably 25 minutes away. I ordered it so I wouldn't have to drive 25 minutes to go get it.
Does Arrow have a retail portion of their business?
Yeah, they have a
Cool.
storefront.
I did not know.
Yeah,
Groovy.
both Arrow and Rainier Arms are up in Tacoma. That's not what I wanted. That one. Come on. There we go. Yep. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, I don't enjoy going to Tacoma for the most part. PNW Woods will back me up if he was out there. Ozzy Osbourne's out there, barking at the moon. Good evening. It's there's nice, like with every city, there's nice parts and there's not so nice parts. Oops, that's not what I want.
Like there's those towns where if you drive around, there's scooters that everybody can just use. They're like, I don't know, free or something, where they're just scooters laying around, and when you're done with it, you just leave it laying there. I always assume Tacoma, there's just a bunch of Toyota Tacomas around, and you can just get in one and drive wherever you need to go, and then just leave it, and then somebody else will take it to wherever they need to go.
Well, there probably are a bunch lying around that were carjacked. But
So we suffer from the scooter thing here. And I say suffer because everywhere there are scooters. First time I saw it was Kansas City, and I was actually rolling a video because I was cruising through a cool part of town. And I said, scooters, scooters, there are scooters everywhere. Scooter, scooter, scooter. And now that's here in Omaha. It's kind of trippy that they just get to leave stuff around. But while I was in KC that first weekend, I noticed them early morning hours outside the hotel having a cigarette. And I see these pickup trucks driving around. And I guess that they are able to ping their location. And these guys are just rolling around in the off hours, shagging these things and taking them to be charged up or serviced or whatever else. Kind of an interesting system. I don't see many adults, honestly, riding them around town. But if I was a kid and that was available, hell yeah, I'd be all about the scooter.
just trying to find something while we're talking here.
Yeah, they're all around here too. That's a gig. You can pick those things up, take them home, and charge them. I'm sure there's other strategies to it, but it's like a thing from like Ubering or something. It's a side job people have. We got them all over the place in Tucson, which is like definitely suburban sprawl. Makes no sense that miles and miles and miles away from downtown, there's scooters laying around all over. So there must be a zillion people using them. I wonder, compared to a bunch of buses running around empty, which is, I don't know. I don't know if that's everywhere, but I'm assuming it's everywhere. Is anybody using buses wherever you're at? Like, is it better to have these scooter things and then the individuals scooting than having giant buses run around empty?
That's interesting to pose. The efficiency of the scooters is going to be better. Anything against diesel is, any electric against diesel is going to be an okay return on that. Maybe decreasing the number of buses they have to roll through. Yeah, totally. I mean, I can sort of see that. The biggest prohibition I would find is those things, if you're not familiar with them, maybe the reason we don't see a lot of adults on them, or I should have said, is because maybe you're going to be an accident-prone rider and you don't want to take that risk, have somebody else do the driving, in other words. And then also, can you really take packages unless they're, strapped to your back or in your backpack or whatever else? Might not be efficient for all riders.
Well, but that's what I think. I think they're going to school, yeah, right? Like even then, you got like a backpack or something, but I don't think kids have to carry books anymore. But even going to work though, commuting, I guess the word. You know what I mean? You're not like carrying maybe lunch. Like, what are you carrying to work?
I wonder did anybody know the range on those things?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They must be tremendous range because unless people are just scooting them around the suburbs of Tucson, because Tucson's huge, but there's not that many people here, so they're just in neighborhoods all the time. So they've got to be miles and miles and miles and miles. They're giant battery.
I wouldn't think they're taking them too far.
I wonder if there's an app, like you say, there's an app that tracks them. I wonder if there's an app that shows their use. Just to brag about how often they're being used and where they're taken, because they got GPS on them, and there's probably something that tracks that. Do they share that?
It'd be interesting to find out, but that's got to be data sets that they can pull down for sure.
That would be neat, though, right? Even if they gave us a sample, like here's what a typical day looks like, just to give people an idea. I'm gonna go look. I'll bet you that's something that's out there because they'd want to brag about it, right? And for investors, they'd be like, "Oh, it's so important. Look how much they're being used," right?
So here's my fear of the AI. What will happen eventually? You end up with this.
Oh yeah, this is inevitable.
Oop. You end up with an ad.
The AI wants commercials.
The Tron was prophetic.
So here's a question. Are those scooters a national chain, or is it just a bunch of individuals doing scooters?
I always thought it was individuals.
I've seen different color schemes and stuff too, Fott. So yeah, go with that.
What color are yours? Ours are red, I think, here.
Green and white. Kansas City's were blue and something.
Yeah, I think I've seen them in, at least 5 different cities, and they're different colors.
We don't really have them around here.
And I haven't seen any that carry advertising like buses do. I mean, that's one of the ways that they help to fund, defray the cost of a bus system is the advertising itself, not just on the benches, but on the sides of the damn things. Somebody needs to fix those with mini billboards or something.
I wonder how they're not just horked. I'll just keep driving it. They're like a shopping cart, they'll only go so far from their hub and then they just stop running.
Well, you're paying for it, so because you have to use an app and have a credit card tied to that app, so you're going to be paying for it if you take off.
There's no way to hack them, I guess, because if you could hack them, people would just leave with them, right?
Yeah,
you never see them again. I found a place that sells them to people who are running them around a business, but they won't tell you how much they cost. They just say send inquiry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look up. Looks like they might have some in Seattle. They've got the bikes. I'm not sure if they. Looks like they might have the scooters. Lime is the one around here. They're green.
So I just did a look up really quick, and Google tells me the city of Omaha works with 2 scooter rental companies, Lime and Spin. And these say that that the scooters time out between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m., sometimes later, to pick up scooters that need charging, then charge them overnight and set them out before 7 a.m.
They cost $500 to buy one. With the tracking system, like buying one that's anti-theft, designed for sharing, with all the equipment in it to take the app and the payment and everything, it's $500. Well, $600 really.
Says
with
that the
$300 shipping.
I see here that it says that the scooter that Lime uses is the Segway 9-Bot ES4. It's even got bot in the name, and Segway. I can remember when those were demoed on Was It Good Morning America from like the first
Does that mean
national run on that.
I wonder if that means it keeps you from falling over. Like if it's easier to ride than a regular scooter. I was going to ride them in Vegas and I always forget.
Do you know what happened to the inventor of the Segway?
Yeah.
Died on a Segway?
Yep. He went off a cliff.
God. Oh, no way.
He went before the Segway, before they came out publicly. He went on Coast to Coast with Art Bell and was talking about how it was going to basically change civilization, the way people move.
I think I remember that show.
Let me say howdy to Pink Panther.
I would think the ones in Vegas go all the time, but maybe not. I guess if you shut them down when it's dark out, you eliminate a lot of, issues with people getting into accidents.
Well, it'll cut down on the drive-by scooters, drive-by scootings.
Scoot by shootings.
Yeah.
So if you got your monkey with you and you want your monkey to have its own scooter, I don't feel like you should have to pay for that because that's not a human using the scooter.
Yeah, but then they have to clean all the feces off the scooter. The monkey's going to poop on it.
And they love to hurl crap, don't they?
Yeah.
Drive-by scooting so fast. Oh, my God. It's a good thing I was muted.
Orange 9's out there. Says, what's up, lad and lassies? Pray you're all fine. I think we're doing so far so good.
I've fallen asleep 3 times.
I don't think I'm going to paint the Bushmaster rifle. I think I'm going to leave it black. I was debated on whether we should change the color and put a vote on it, but I think I'll just leave it the way it is, at least for now.
What about colored accent pieces?
Maybe in the future. Oh, should I color fill?
Yeah, you got any crayons? Or you use nail polish?
Well, I did nail polish on the 300 blackout, but I was thinking about doing crayons. If I do it again, I had never thought about crayons until I saw Guns of Barbecue. That's what he was saying he did. So, oh, I might try that.
Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah. It fits a lot of little rounds, just like China.
I wonder if he's talking.
I was. So, in addition to giving you this like really crap shot, right? Okay, so yeah, it's the Walther CCP, and on the slide, the black infill, um, it's going on 3 years, and that is fingernail polish. And down here, that white infill on the God, it's horrible. I apologize, guys, but that is also nail polish, and that's. I mean, this is my ED. I carry this every day, and it isn't chipped, like no runs, no drips, no errors. What was that for Krylon? Kind of
Did
thing.
you put a clear coat on it?
I did not.
I went with let's see if I've got it here. Yeah. I used a gel polish. It's got a lot of flake in it because I wanted sparkly. But it's one of the UV ones, so you use UV to harden it. It's supposed to be a little harder. And here, let's see if we can get us in trouble. Come on. So, let's see if we can see. It doesn't, not quite enough light to see it sparkle. But,
Ooh, there's the shimmer. There you go.
yeah, I did
That's
that.
snazzy.
And then on the other side, there's a green sparkle for the safe.
Green for go, right?
No, I went with red. Red for hot, green for safe. Yeah, a bunch of stuff fell over in the safe, so I can't close the door.
Ah, they killed the stream.
Oh well.
Show's over. Good night, everyone.
Drive safe. Ozzy said he got the Megskins he ordered. Ones of his avatar. I think he put up. Didn't you put up pictures? Of a mag with your logo on it?
Yeah. I think it was a real picture. It wasn't just a mock-up. I thought it was a real picture.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Cool looking. I think it was Instagram. I don't remember. A picture somewhere. I might have broken into his house and looked at his stuff while he was away. I don't know. Orange Knight said he got shut down handling weapons on his chat.
I'm trying to figure out his profile pic.
I don't know. Intestines?
You talking about Aussies, or are you talking about Orange Nine?
Orange 9.
Oh, okay.
No, it looks like an axe on top of another axe.
No, I think that's the Saxon logo. There's a band called Saxon, and that was the S that they used. Heavy metal band. English.
Ozzy was saying that was a screenshot of when he ordered them. So it was the website's mock-up of how it would look. And Orange 9 said, yeah, it's Saxon.
Rock.
Oh. he's got a staccato. So check out my Chile E2 grip on my staccato C2. Stainless steel.
Is that the grip or the gun?
Both. I don't know. And G23 finally got around to opening the stickers I sent him a couple weeks ago. And now I'm all out of order here. No, I did that when I built it. So it was sparkly when you shot it. You just didn't notice.
Oh, I have a big update. The CMP declined my application for another M1.
What?
Reason given?
They didn't like my signature.
Burn? They have one of yours on file. Would they keep your applications on file or something like that? You have to run them up against previous, right? Damn, dude, that's not cool.
Why would that be a problem?
What, my signature?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I questioned it, and they're like, yeah, it's definitely no good. And not only that, you need to get it notarized. I'm like, fuck.
And this was all news to you this go around. You didn't have to deal with that the prior time, right?
No, I've done it twice. No problems.
And without the notary and all that, did you maybe just get a hold of somebody like, I mean, I'm spitballing here, but maybe somebody who just didn't know the appropriate policy or was having a bad damn day? Can you kick it upstairs to somebody?
Well, they did kick it upstairs, and then it got worse. Now I have more paperwork to do. So,
Shitty. Oh, wait a second. So more paperwork to do. So do you have to resubmit? Is there a waiting period before you have to do that? You get to correct this one? What do you got going?
they told me to resubmit. I sent it in after complaining. I was like, yeah. I made a email. I was like, bleh, this is bullshit. And they sent it up to their general manager, and the general manager was like, fuck you. Not only do we need a new application, we need to notarize this time. Like, crap, I already sent in the other one. So we'll see what happens. Proof that I am not sponsored by the CMP. They won't even sell me a gun.
Or it's an elaborate ruse as a cover.
It's a false flag.
Yep. Well, I did get some new stickers. Oh,
Nice.
some Mouse Party stickers.
Ooh, could you go full screen on those?
Hold on there we go.
Rock.
Not sure what I want to do with these. If I want to, yeah,
I know what to do.
what's that?
You know, the gas stations, pumps that have like the Biden, I did this, start sticking them over that. Get some advertising out.
I might get in trouble for that one.
You can stick them on scooters.
You're just defaming things, right?
You get a whole bunch of new viewers, but they're basically just bitching at you for the gas prices.
Foss did that.
Gas prices so high.
You should make a sticker that says Fosta did that. Stick them everywhere.
All of a sudden, mad@themouse.com appears.
There you go.
I don't know, because, like these ones, the sparkle ones are only if I meet you in person. So I don't know if I should save these for special times or just use them as regular giveaway.
That other sticker, if you get to 100,000 subs, are you going to get it tattooed on your arm?
Well, I don't think that's ever going to be a problem. I'm never going to get 100,000. So, excuse me. But probably not, no.
Not sleeping. I was sitting here trying to eat, and then I somehow brought my tongue as far forward as I could, like if I was trying to lick something way in front of me, and then bit down and somehow bit underneath the back of my tongue. I didn't know my teeth could get down there or anything, and now I'm suffering from having a bit in my tongue underneath the back of my tongue. I didn't even know I could feel back underneath the back of my tongue, but now I bit that area and I can feel it and it hurts.
These are let's see. Pink was saying it looks like a business card. Yeah, it was another deal from one of the sticker companies for 3-inch stickers, but because of the way the picture is formatted, I would have liked bigger ones, but I wouldn't have been able to get the deal on them. So they ended up being smaller than I wanted, but I don't know. They're cool. They're good. They're quality stickers. So I don't know. I just wanted something with Baron and myself on them. So we're always together. I'm a hound dog.
It's very sweet.
Oh.
You know what I was thinking?
Copper.
What were you thinking?
What's it called? Bonfire? You know that site?
Yes.
I was thinking we get some coffee mugs. Like Foss for Governor. That type of thing.
No. I'm not going to. I will say I do not foresee selling anything. I don't want to sell stuff. I don't.
What if we sell it for cost?
Nope.
No profit.
Nope.
Raffle for a worthy cause?
I only do this channel as a loss.
Donate to the Pets and Vets Fund.
I will support the Pets and Vets Fund, but I will not.
Buy Baron a sandwich.
No, but what he's saying is on a print-on-demand place, the shirt's going to cost like $5, and then they're going to charge you, depending on the complexity or whatever, the design and how many designs, if you got it on the arm or front and back like that, they're going to charge you something more for the, let's say the labor and the cost. So then let's say now the shirt was $5 and now it's $7, and then you put $5 on it so you can sell the shirt for 12 plus some shipping. It's all under 20. The person who's created the design and everything gets their $5 cut, so it's making money for the channel, and then the shirt gets made. But in those places, you can set the profit to 0 so that the shirt goes out at the cost that the shirt costs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put your design on it, let people buy it at cost, and whatever it costs for the shirt plus the design plus the shipping, it goes out to them, and then you can people then can own it, but you're not necessarily trying to create income.
We don't make a dime.
Yeah,
But
I understand that, and I'm still not going to do it.
Okay. I was just going to say that you could set that to $5 and then tell it to give that $5 to whatever, and then people know. Like, it's literally, I don't even see this. It just goes straight to an organization.
G23 said, I like the glow in the dark stickers. Those kick ass. I really like those glow in the dark stickers that I got. They're really nice. They're a nice thick vinyl, and they glow really well. They're pretty cool. I don't have any. I think they're all upstairs, but those came out really nice. You can see the whole image while it's glowing.
All the stickers I get from Gizzard glow so good that I don't know. They'd have to be pretty good to glow as bright as it.
I'm not sure. I don't even know which company I got it from, because I went through and hit all the deals, all the good deals that would pop up on Instagram for stickers. I hit all those, so not sure who exactly I got it from. Let me see. I got a picture on my phone. I just need to get it off my phone, and I can show a picture of it that I took. Take me a second here. I know this is riveting, especially for people that are listening to it afterwards.
We should sell that Bruce Lee Arnold Schwarzenegger photo as a t-shirt for free. Get sued by an AI.
Yeah, and I already want to build another rifle. I've got the edge to do another rifle. It's like model building, you know.
Or addiction.
It is. Oh, there it is.
It is a very expensive addiction. I have to say that.
Yeah. This rifle, the Bushmaster, will probably be the most expensive one I bought, partly because of the options and partly
Most expensive to buy ammo for, too.
oh Lord, yes. Partly also because of everything's a little more expensive now. So let me. Oh, whoops. There we go. And then I can. That's not what I wanted to do. Hang on.
I just bought some stuff from AIM Surplus. Do you know they take a photo of your items before they ship them, showing that they're all there?
That's pretty
And
cool.
email that to you?
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Enough where you could tell, like, I don't know, like if it was a surplus thing, the condition of it, or is it just like the quantity of it?
No, you can tell exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, is it like, here's what you're getting, and then you have like a minute to go? Oh, hold on.
I don't know how much time they gave me, but I can check.
So this is the glow in the dark stickers I have. So it looks like this is doctored, a faux doctor, but this is just, I think I went in the bathroom and closed the door. I laid them out on the sink. So they glow really nicely. But now every time I see a sticker deal, I want to order more stickers now, which I don't really need to. I've got quite a few stickers already. Uh-oh. When I was looking up scooters, I'm not looking for a mobility scooter. I was looking up for scooter rentals in Seattle to see what was available. G23 is telling me to build a 50 Beowulf. I've thought about that in the past. But because I debated back and forth between 50 Beowulf and 450 Bushmaster. And since I have the 450 Bushmaster, if I built another rifle, I'd probably want something different, a little more different. Uh-oh. So is Orange 9 duplicating?
So I had 7 hours before the shipment got picked up.
What?
AIM Surplus. They sent me
Oh,
the
okay.
email with the photo. It was 7 hours before the shipment got picked up.
That's pretty
After that email was sent.
Ruger for their PCC. What's it called?
PC
The
carbine? I don't know. Yeah, pistol caliber carbine.
Like PT9 or something like that.
Yeah, not the PC carbine, the other one. Charger, PC charger. Um, they photo when it's being boxed up for security to show that everything is in the box. Because the adapter, so you can use Glock mags.
Mhm.
That piece disappears a lot. My buddy who bought one, it disappeared. And Ruger can show that it shipped with that part, and the gun shop said no, it wasn't there. The gun shop is a little shady.
Speaking of which, arrow lowers with the threaded bolt catch.
Yeah.
Like 50% of the time, that's missing. And that's not like it fell out. Somebody would have to go in there and unscrew it.
Yeah. So pink.
I had a question about tonight's bracket.
Ask away.
What time is the bracket tonight?
7 minutes. Should we ask the audience which bracket to do? Give them 4 options.
Let me show. Pink was shared a color changing mug on his Instagram. I had thought about that.
Oh, cool. Is that from new or is that from a long time ago?
March 18th, 2016.
Okay. I don't know if they still, because that was Spreadshirt, I think, a while ago. But that's super cool. Is that he's pouring hot water or cold water?
Probably hot water. I think most of them were.
But it's in a jug.
Well, I don't know that. Pink said he bought 2 of them from you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are print on demand though. I remember that was one of the first art things I ever did on the internet, like going, I'm gonna put some stuff together. I made that into a bumper sticker.
And Ozzy was saying he has a charger. He didn't see no pictures. Yeah, I don't think they give you the picture. They keep it for themselves. Just so if there's a problem, they can go back and then because there's a camera that sits over the. It's I guess it's video, not pictures, but yeah, because he called Ruger and told them what the problem was, and they sent him another one for free, which I thought was pretty cool. Pink said it's hot water.
Yeah, very cool.
We currently have 28 brackets ready to go.
How do you think they make that stuff disappear when it's hot?
It's when
Magic.
the pigment, when it heats up, it shifts, so it changes the way the light hits it. That's basically, I believe, the way that it works. Excuse me. Yeah, there was a few other things that I thought about getting, but I don't know. I'm kind of wondering, am I getting too much stuff? Is it am I starting to be egotistical about my channel where everybody wants my, I'm thinking everybody wants my stuff, so I'm making all this stuff, and I don't know. Although there are gonna, I did order 4 deck of cards, and the back has my logo on it. I did one last week. Spent at least an hour. The back of the cards had the logo, and then the face of the cards, each suit had a different logo on it. And I went to order it, and the website was really clunky, and it kept getting errors, and left it to do the chat. And then when I went back to it, it wasn't there anymore. It timed out or something. And I didn't feel like going back and then redoing it. So, plus I had a 60% off from a different website to do cards with just the backs. So that's what I did. Sharon Hinchcliffe's out there. Good evening. And
This is a fantastic idea. Somebody should do that.
I don't know about that.
Maybe boxer briefs, even better.
I've never worn boxer briefs, only briefs or boxers. So what do you wear, Baron? Boxers or briefs?
Nothing.
Oh, free balling.
Yep.
That's what I picture. I imagine DJ does.
Commando.
Yeah. I wear boxers.
Yeah, I hope they know when we're joking sometimes. Sometimes I'm worried they don't know.
I don't know. We kind of run aground, I think.
Flamethrower bracket. Best flamethrower of World War One. There was only one, so. While there is a lull, let me do this. Go ahead and do this one. Guntube.org, or not Guntube. Shit. Gearwebsites.com. For all your 2A patches, stickers, t-shirts, there's some books and 3D printed stuff too. Gearwebsites.com. I think we're off the rails in the ditch and upside down.
We are not yet on fire.
No.
Oh, I was on Slap the Yank today. Or yesterday.
Sort of.
Sort of, yes.
The hell is a slap the yank, bro?
The Yankee Marshal. He has a segment where if you disagree with him, he will invite you on his show and you can argue.
All right then. Drop the link, man.
Well, it's kind of
So
a
you went on there with him?
Yep.
What did you disagree with him about?
I was an imposter of the person that was supposed to hop on, and the guy was saying, "Oh, you won't let me on. You're blocking me. You won't let me in the StreamYard." So I pretended to be him and went in. I was like, "See, he let me in. You're full of shit."
Well, then what was that guy's issue?
What was it? Buying guns from Turkey? Something like that. He was saying that he was full of shit for not buying guns from Turkey, but you buy guns from Germany.
Yeah, when I did watch after you posted that clip, I watched it, but since Yankee booted the guy, it erased all his comments, so I couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I don't know if anybody ever has an issue with something that Yankee says, you can go into his chat and say you want to come on and disagree with him, and he'll give you a link to come in and disagree with him.
In my experience, doing it in the live chat is a lot better than sending him an email. He's kind of technologically challenged.
Yeah, he gets a stupid amount of emails every day. He gets like 1,000 emails. I don't know. So if you email him, he may not ever see it.
I got 2A topics. I don't know unless you want to shut it down.
No, that's fine. What you got?
So I was watching San Diego gun owners, I think on Twitter, but I can't remember exactly. But they mentioned Reason TV. So first question is, does the panel and does the audience know of, have an opinion on Reason TV? That's a project.
I've seen some. I know I've read some stuff from them, but I couldn't tell you who they are.
Never heard of him.
DJ agrees with the answer. So they are. Oh God.
No, is like the magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen, but I don't know a heck of a lot about it.
So if you go to their YouTube, it's a magazine, like it's a zine or a magazine, actual real magazine from back in the olden days, like when Hillary was a child. So the guy died or quit doing the magazine when we were babies or when we were little kids, depending on how old we are. So a magazine that was, I'm going to say libertarian because that's the words we use now, but it was outside the norms back then, and nobody thought it would go anywhere, and nobody respected it. And it was this I don't want to say counterculture because I don't think that implies that it was like from California and trying to be contrary for the point of reason to be contrary, or maybe communist or something. This seemed more like they were describing it as a guy who was just interested in having a narrative that wasn't guided by an agenda, right? So he created Reason magazine and then stuck with it. I think let's say if he started it in 71, he was gone by 75 or something. And then the magazine, I think, kept going with the original goals, even though the guy spun out and didn't stick with it. And then that's the origin of it. And I just assumed it was some kind of news or political or trendy New York magazine or something. I don't know. I think it's from New York. And then now it's internet. It's on YouTube or whatever. So when I seen San Diego gun owners talk about a specific article, which is about the media paying attention to murderers more than the Super Bowl and more than wars. So remember, I know I had heard somebody allude to some research that had been done about how much attention and how much money is spent by the media on focusing on murderers, right? The very few number of people that are killed by individuals with, specific items that they have an agenda about. And this article that San Diego gun owners mentioned was a new article from like this month, but it talked about this research from a guy from South Carolina, North Carolina, no, Alabama, and a researcher from school in Alabama about this media and how, what do they call it? Fame seeking is the reason why there's these killers trying to outdo themselves ever since the one in Colorado back in the olden days. So, and then this was like a brand new article being referred to by San Diego gun owners. So I go over and look at Reason, and it's a fairly recent video of this research and talking to the guy who did the research. But then I looked, and I think the research is from 2018, and I think Woods would have an opinion on it. It turns out peer-reviewed is basically like me saying, hey, this is so good, and then DJ looks at it and goes, yeah, it's awesome. So it's just your friends looking at it as opposed to an impartial review. So a peer review is sort of like not as legitimate as a different kind of review, I guess. And this is, so I talked about it. I thought I got the impression that people said, oh, that's just a bunch of people. Anyway, so that's why I started digging into it. And then I went, and then Wheeled and Well Armed said, oh no, you should go check out, do a search for Reason, TV, and gun control. So I did. And that's when I found a couple of, they basically talk about gun control all the time. Well, they talk about guns and the situation we live in, not as though they're for gun control at all. They're probably against it more than anything. But I haven't watched enough of it. But anyway, that's what I guess first thing I was going to bring up is that Reason. And then this potentially this idea specifically of fame seeking as a tactic or a strategy to bring up when they want to say gun ownership is the problem. And then our typical thing is to say kids get not treated for their mental issues, or people with mental issues aren't investigated by the FBI and all this other stuff. But nobody ever really has brought up pointing the finger at the media, or at least for their portion of it, right? Like accountability for their portion of the responsibility and the consequence of their heinous freaking actions. But I'll shut up now.
The last time I can remember, and I like this example, and I did see that you had that. I think it was maybe through Patreon. And I grabbed that and started to read a bit of it, looking forward to the rest of it. The last time I can remember there being mention of, firearms, violence, and the news or television was, video games. And before that, it was, violence in cartoons and whatever else kind of thing. So maybe a bit full circle on that. I'm really looking forward to it, though, man. Thanks for that.
I always kind of go back to the 80s and 90s, the serial killers, where the press plays it up, and it seems like behind every bush is a serial killer, and it got to where the FBI asked the news organizations to stop reporting it because they're getting copycat. They were creating the problem.
I remember the first time that I was, this is how old I am. In 1979, I was about 10 years old, right? And that's when the Atlanta child murders were. And that was the first time I was scared by something the news was telling me, was like a direct threat. Like indirectly, it was telling me that's a threat to me. I had no idea how far, really how far Atlanta was or where any of that was coming from. But that kind of hype, when it gets settled in, especially to, young minds, I can only imagine. It wasn't hard for me to overcome that. I mean, eventually that guy was, found and arrested. But the idea that there is that, hidden violence that would just, appear and beset you. Didn't dig that growing up. I don't like the idea that that's a lot of what goes on now when I've seen it reflected in the conversations of friends that I have who are parents and indeed with their teenage children as well. Last year, a woman's teenage kids were asking me if I knew where I could get armor plates for them to put in their backpacks. That's how concerned they were, and that's horrifying to me.
Steel plates?
Yeah, they wanted armor plates for the backpack.
You tell them something, or do you show them where to get them?
I basically gave them a background on what I understood about them, pointed them to a couple of places where they could make inquiries for themselves, and that they needed to get anything like that approved by their mother. And I do not know whether or not they pursued it any further. It was mostly the son was the elder of the two kids, and I think he was like mostly kind of pushing the idea to his sister. But he had an interest but they both had reservations about their safety in schools here.
Do you think that that's more of like, oh man, I can get an armored panel, and all I got to say is I want one? Or is it, I'm scared shitless, and an armored panel is the first thing I can cling to?
I got to say there were elements of both when I had the conversation with the son. There was the coolness factor of it, but I did believe that the inquiry was based on a genuine concern for safety, or at least the preparedness for such, which I had to give the kid credit for. I didn't want to feed into where I thought that was coming from, but aside from this is like freaking cool to show my buddies kind of deal. Just try to be as persuasive as I possibly could about them being confident in just situational awareness. I did a lot of that situational awareness, and I used things that P&W Woods that we had talked about in previous discussions about things, like the things that he has around him in his classroom. I'm not going to speak for him. If you've been around, he shares those things freely. And I also turned them on to an Instagram vid that was also a reference out from P&W Woods about how to use a chair around some types of handles on classroom doors so that you can secure them from the inside. That was just freaky, man. I don't dig it.
One thing that people don't seem to realize, you hear people talk about the news and how bad the news has gotten, and that news is partisan. It has always been that way. As long as there's been press, it's been skewed partisan. You know, they have agendas that they've driven. Clear example is the Spanish-American War. It's the press that got it, that pushed public opinion to get us to fight Spain. And it's political campaigns, the founding fathers. There's stories about one of the one of the mothers, and I can never remember who it is. It's like Adams and Jefferson or Jackson, calling the other mother a hermaphrodite or, a prostitute. It goes back that far. It's always been that way. Now it seems that they're more okay with being open about, their biases, but, it's not a new phenomenon. One of the people that everybody, Cronkite, people point back to Cronkite. He was a liberal. I don't want to, I want to call him a hack, but I don't know if he was a hack. But with the Vietnamese, the NVA basically said, that was their goal, was to get him against the war because they knew that would turn public opinion. And that's what happened. And then once that happened, I can't remember who said that, the war is lost. We lost Cronkite.
So I was going to put, as you said that, I didn't want to interrupt you, but as you were saying that, something made me think that there's timing, right? And there's reaction, I guess. So if you've got a war, and especially World War I, and then World War II happens with the same people, like a lot of the same people. I mean, there was a generation there, but a whole bunch of people were in both wars. And the people that were in two knew all about one. They either were born right at it or were involved in it. Right? So there was a heck of a lot of let's never have another world war again, and mindset and complete understanding, because the whole world had gone through something. World War I, there was the additional Spanish flu or whatever that went through. So there's, these things that happen. And I guess I was going to say that when there's nothing that unites a country, then it's difficult. You'd have to have some kind of cultural thing or societal thing that you would unite them. But when you've got an actual thing like a world war or something else that happens, then that can I don't know what to say, but like create a unified front, at least in some respects, because everyone went through the same thing. So like there's a shortage, right? The shortages of the war. Doesn't matter what your opinion on war is or blah, blah, blah. You know that a war creates shortages, so you're gonna stock up. So that mentality died with our grandparents and parents, maybe. But our grandparents knew what it was like to live through the shortages and the rationing of war, and they did not. They lived lives of prepping. Like we know what prepping is because we just watched our grandparents pickle and hold on to stuff so that they'd have at least a few uh, months worth of comfort if something all went to shit, because they knew what it was like when the world went to shit. We haven't gone to shit since then, so no one remembers that. No one except for the echoes has any actual impulse to worry about that stuff, except for people that put it on themselves. So then I guess what I'm getting at is, was this stress of the last few years, no matter how you want to look at it, the entire world went through different stress and issues. Coming out of it, shouldn't we expect people, even if they have different political agendas, to have a common understanding that they don't want to see it go to that again? And no matter what, they don't want to see it get that out of control. Like the canoe didn't tip over, but everybody got scared shitless at the same time. And we've got that commonality. Or am I making a mountain out of a molehill there?
No, you're not making a mountain out of a molehill, and that's the reason why I wanted to jump in. You're actually very accurate on that. In fact, some people say that World War II is just a continuation of World War I due to the extreme issues or the extreme penalties that France put onto Germany.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Yeah, there's no question that what resolved World War I was a direct cause of World War II. And the whole thing with prepping and everything else, and then everything with the with Hurricane Ian going on right now, and then just Fiona recently, and then with some of the storms, and they're talking about this winter is supposed to be a very nasty according to the Old Farmer's Almanac. People haven't realized the almanac is accurate even better than the current what's the word I'm thinking of, NOAA and things like that. They are really, really, really good, and with a better percentage, better than, I think it's a 60% percentage on accuracy of what the future weather is going to be, especially for the winter. So being prepared, as somebody who grew up on an island where 2 Category 4 hurricanes went by, yeah, you didn't evacuate. You got prepared. You knew certain things had to be done, and you had to take care of things. You had to make sure that you had certain things, because as soon as hurricane season hit, or as soon as you knew that something was going to be coming, the grocery stores would be cleared out. You wouldn't see anything. And it was, I mean, there's only so much you can do. You're not evacuating an island of 5 million people. I think when we were down in Puerto Rico, it was at just around 4 million. You're not evacuating an island of 4 million people. Where are you going to put them? And what are you going to use? And this is when you had the military bases there. So huge difference on that. And so the being prepared, it's just the people moving away from their extended family, the people moving away from their grandparents and things like that. That's where the loss of knowledge of how to prep, how to be prepared really comes into play. So, G-Webs, you're not wrong on that at all, on how has been a disconnect, but there's also been a lot more people learning. A number of years ago, knitting, about 15, 20 years ago, knitting just exploded. a lot of women much younger than me learned how to knit for the first time or learned how to crochet. Turned out to being this massive thing. Their parents, their mothers didn't know how to do it, their aunts didn't know how to do it, and for some of them, neither did their grandmothers. So they were learning brand new, trying to figure out how to do this. That spawned, with the internet and everything, it spawned on a huge thing. But you have a once they learned how to do that, then they learned. Some of them went into learning how to spin wool, how to weave, and then it's like, oh, what else can I do? Like, oh, I can make clothing. They learned how to sew, and then they learned how to do food preservation. So there was an upswing on women, and some men who learned how to do water bath and pressure canning. It's not to the way it was beforehand, as it was during my grandmother's, and during my parents' age, but it's definitely been an uptick. Is there a generational shift from it? Yes, there was. The boomer generation, the hippies really didn't pay attention to it. They broke from that. I'm older Gen X. Yes, I learned how to do those not only from my mother, who was older than the boomer. So she was part of what's the generation before that? The silent generation, I
The
think.
greatest generation is their parents.
Yeah, maybe because my
Yeah,
mom,
the
my
greatest, then the boomers, then the Gen X.
yeah.
There's
So my mom
nothing
was part of
between
the. My parents were part of the. My well, that doesn't make sense because my parents were not old enough to fight in World War II, but they were not boomers. Maybe it's the
Did,
silent generation.
did we really have generations until the boomers like kind of became a wave of everyone
Yes.
kind of like
Yeah.
a,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
there
that
was. There
release
was
after two.
definite because there was definite positions on how you saw societal changes, not only economically, but also some things that were happening politically.
But
Um,
they weren't quite as rigid where it's this year to this year. It was more these were your parents, that's the other generation.
yeah,
Right.
you
Then it
still
all
had
kind of
ages.
lined up where everybody had
Mhm.
kids at the same time out of nowhere, right? Like again, there was that influence of political, well, in this case, political war or whatever. But like the end of the war was that line in the sand where everybody's like, okay, we can have kids now. Where before that, there wasn't a war that affected enough people, I guess, to create that.
There actually was after the Civil War. There
Oh,
wasn't.
okay, that makes sense.
There was.
But that would be
There's
just our country, not like the whole
That would be
planet.
our country, but it's definitely based on a Eurocentric because there was also wars going on in Europe during that same time frame. So it wasn't just our civil war that was happening. There was there was some serious fighting going on in Europe during that time frame. So
That was one other thing I was going to mention earlier, where um, people bring up like this is the end times. You know, there's more violence, more wars than there's a war every 7 to 10 years.
mhm,
It's as long as man has existed, basically 7 to 10 years. There's another war. It's always happening. It is not new. It's not,
correct,
you know.
Well,
correct.
what's dwindling is it used to be wars over political boundaries and then resources, and now the wars are over bickering, and they're tiny compared to what they were. So they're getting, they might exist, but they're getting in lower frequency. The
There are
global
different
unrest.
it's a different frequency. They're still happening. Right now, technology has kept it from escalating, I believe. We will no longer have another Westphalian peace, which was a 400-year peace that happened in Europe. And that saw major changes. And I believe that was tied, let me double check my notes, near uh, the Renaissance.
17th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that was
that was engineered
major.
rather than everyone just not disputing boundaries.
No, that was a definite hard piece that was done to stop a 30-year and an 80-year war. And as for a 30-year war, it was a pretty bad one. And this was also, you had a lot of sectarian violence. You had a lot of religious violence between the Catholics and the Protestants, and then the Protestant sects going on at the same time. It's for people who are curious. Westphalia Peace, or the Treaty of Westphalia, is something really to look into, because what happened afterwards was unprecedented for the time of peace that happened afterwards. You had a lot of people just saying, like, we need to stop fighting. Too many people are dying.
We could ask Gizzard about this on Friday.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge, and it's a major historic event. But after that peace, you saw a massive change in the library. I mean, you had 2 libraries that were burned and destroyed. Well, no, I was thinking of something else. That was World War I by the Germans for the Belgium. Sorry, I crossed my history on that by a couple hundred years. But Westphalia, you saw a huge thing in the development of the universities, the development of science, because people were no longer fighting. People could actually spend the time not just worrying about where their next meal was coming from, or whether or not they were going to live through the night.
Well, you're kind of going backwards, or in a history direction. What I was getting at is that the stress, or whatever you want to consider the stress of the last few years, if you want to call it the riots, or you want to call it the, go in, there's like a dozen different things you could. An individual might consider the thing that stressed them out or got them out of their comfort zone. Maybe that's the best way to say it. So going forward, I would think that's going to potentially cause a shift in your political votes and your tastes and your expectations from a representative, and those representatives themselves going in with like, well, I can't do the same old. People aren't looking for that anymore. Same way that 9/11, I guess, was pivotal for a lot of people. It wasn't ideal because they were able to leverage some technology stuff in there that made it bad, but I mean, that could be happening now. But anyway, so I was getting into that angle, is there potential that we're going to see a more resilient nature of the individual in kind of reflected in the politicians and then the policies going forward. The what we've got as far as bad gun control laws are all because there's nothing to disrupt the status quo, and they depend on using individual atrocities to try to disrupt the status quo. Is it possible that this stress of the last couple of years is going to create more rugged politicians and representatives, and then those people will try things that will remove gun control, like disrupt gun control?
I think you're onto something on that. I think actually you are, and that's based upon the type of younger individuals who are starting to get active, and not just the ones being groomed by specific political activists, such as
Like the dynasties that are trying to get created, right?
Yeah, and these are the ones that are actually moving away from the dynasties. These are the individuals who are stepping up into the school districts, the school boards, things like that. Or by breaking away from the established schooling systems and things like that. So you're definitely seeing a huge change. The numbers of how many kids are being homeschooled right now, and that's including some of the charter schools, with that is just massive.
Right, because that's every time you take a kid away from the indoctrination isn't as effective, right? It isn't as uniform. So right now we're seeing a lot of, everybody gets mad about these movies. It's like, well, the movies they say are being watched by people that are the people that are paying for the movies are the kids that have this focus because of whatever reason. This is their focus, so they expect to see it in their media. Once you, and whatever that might be, I think it's the environment. I really think that's the thing that is. It's almost like at this point, all this other stuff that people use as a distraction was so that they could leverage environment is just a given. Well, of course we care about the environment, but here's the thing that we're all worried about today. It's like, wait a minute, when did the environment just become a thing and it's non-questionable anymore? Now, anytime you want to ram something through, you just give it the environment. It's the old for the children,
Mhm.
for the planet. But anyhow, once there's less of that, then media is going to change, right? And plus, I'm going to assume media is just going to change anyway. But at least the agendas and focus in media won't have that uniform target anymore.
Yeah.
That is the disposable income target that they've always depended on.
Mm-hmm. And especially with the way the inflation and everything else is going on, you've got families who did have the disposable income to go to a movie or do the little extra, don't have that right now. And I do know after discussions with Jake from Walk the Talk from Zephyr Wellness, just how bad the last 2.5 years have been on the youth. And we're barely seeing the tip of the iceberg. That's going to have repercussions that is going to last at least another 10 to 15 years, let alone the loss of progress or comprehension on communication skills for young kids that are, I think they're calling them Gen Alpha, which is the newest one. And those are your kindergartners, your first grade, your second graders. It really has done a number, and it's very frustrating to see everything that has happened because of the narrative that was pushed out. There's an interesting book if people are interested, want to see more on the generational stuff of what was expected, called The Fourth Turning. It's been out since the mid 80s, I believe. And the guys who wrote this actually predicted some of the stuff that was happening over the last 5 years with us in this country and within Europe. And they're very specific that this is happening within a American Euro English European centric model, because that's what they looked at. They did not look at an Asia or an African or Indian subcontinent for the knowledge on how the stuff changes with that. They were looking at it, and also for the documentation of the wars, how the generations from one to the next behaved and everything else. So they were saying that the millennials were going to be the ones that would save everything. And unfortunately, that has been shown not to be happening based upon everything that's going on. And it's probably going to be the generation after them that's going to probably be doing it.
This is interesting. So I'm looking at fourth generation, and I went to Google, not Google, I don't use Google. I went to DuckDuckGo image search, and you get the book cover, which is like a bunch of concentric circles, right? Fourth turning in orange, and then I wanted to see if there was some kind of diagrams or something to summarize the book, and it's neat. There's it looks like they talk about your transition through life, like becoming more aware as you become older, but then you also have the generation, and then you have, I'm guessing, what you what's the word, like what you value. And as you get older, you value different things, and as you have a generation, your generation values different things based on your your shared experiences. But then as you get older, you're all going to share. So it's sort of this, like, it's sort of like the waves, and then the sand that shifts underneath of them, tracking both. That neither one of them is alone. They're both dependent on the other, but they're both changing based on the other. So here's how you see some patterns, and super neat, because I knew there was something about cycles in here, and I'll bet you there's some. I'm interested.
Oh, they go really into the whole thing on time being very cyclical, not linear. And it's a great read, and I would recommend it for anyone who is wanting to see, is there a solution that's going to be happening with the current crises and everything else. This is a book I would strongly recommend reading.
What's the name of the book again?
It's called The Fourth Turning.
I'll grab my Amazon link if you want.
So yeah, if you can drop a link for the fourth turning, and this is more of an overnight kind of topic, rather than the mouse party, which is supposed to be a little lighter.
It is
Oh,
lighter.
Okay.
It is lighter. Sorry, DJ. It is lighter because it shows that there's hope. And that's really where it comes down to it, is that the book from the fourth turning shows that there is hope, that society, as it has been and tracked for several hundred years, does survive. And that by knowing what the history is and going forward, things do come out for the better. And when the whole thing, when the next turning happens, it will be a better society at that point. So it's a good book for reading. I don't agree 100% at the end with him thinking of what's happening, like what we are going through right now, but he nailed it. He definitely nailed it. And it does show a good thing for the future. So it does give you some of that information on it. So it's well worth it. Future topics.
I think that's a good place to leave off for tonight.
Mhm.
So I know you've kind of stepped back from some of the stuff you've been doing.
Yeah.
But is there anything you want to plug or anything you got coming up?
Nothing that I'm really doing anymore, besides just mentoring. I know that Alicia with Boomstick Babe has been doing some great work in Colorado, and then in Washington, there was recently a law and justice meeting with the Senate committee. So if people are interested with that, you can go on through Sporting Systems to find the link, or through the Washington Civil Rights Association, and you can listen to what the current status is of some of the laws that were trying to be changed for 1639, including a single point of contact for background checks. So there is that. And Dan Mitchell from Sporting Systems attended it. I think it was last week was the event. I believe it was last week. And it was out in the Tri-Cities area, so out in far eastern Washington. And so there is that. And there is a petition going on actively right now within Washington State for, if it gets put onto the ballot, if it passes, will overturn a large portion of the gun control laws that have been put through up to and including 1639.
Yeah, Dan has been very active in
Mhm.
supporting Second Amendment rights.
Yes, he has. He is an amazing man. He and his wife are just amazing couple, wonderful people. And the other individual who's heavily involved with the Washington Civil Rights Association is Curtis Bingham from Adventure Protection. And this is for anyone who has a new shooter in Washington State. Curtis's program that he teaches is primarily for new female shooters. And Curtis and his wife have gone through and they've developed a program. It's an 8-hour program, and they walk the students through everything. They have various different types of weapons to try out and everything else, and they even feed you, which is pretty cool. And have coffee for you because it starts early in the morning. But again, Curtis does a lot of amazing work for it as well. And there'll be more stuff coming through the Washington Civil Rights, either through the Facebook page or through their website for more information on that. But that's really for anybody who's in Washington, wants to follow up and see what's going on currently for the defense of the Second Amendment here.
DJ, is there anything you would like to plug?
Indeed, there is. With your kind permission, I'd like to drop a link for Brooke Cheney's channel. That's a great start shooting school. It's Suicide Awareness Month. That is September, and on Saturdays she hosts a program on that channel. So check out that link, check out the chat, come and grab some good information. In addition to that, the Guns and Barbecue channel seems to be back in the saddle again. Aerosmith is a reference there, and if you all come around to his channel whenever it is that he decides to have chats, apparently tomorrow there might be one that includes a discussion about a book. So between those two things and my desire to have you all be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock, see you later, y'all.
And I dropped a link, which probably won't work because I left out a / for the Washington Civil Rights Association. Let me do it again. PPS www.wcra.org.
And that's the Railway Museum of British Columbia.
So if you're in Washington State and are curious about what's going on with gun laws and stuff, oops. Oh, I closed the chat. Hold on. There we go. There's a link that should get you there, I believe. And Billy's jumping in at the last minute while we're wrapping up. All right. So, G-Webs, anything you want to plug?
I dropped a link for Boomstick Babe's Instagram channel, and then she's also got shirts and stuff. I think she makes them.
Yeah, she does. She does
so
custom work.
So if you want to support what she's doing, I was going to say they're like girl shirts. So if you've got somebody around who's into shooting that's a girl, then send them her way, and that might be able to support what she's doing. But yeah, thanks for the link. Thanks for hosting. It's always good to have conversation.
Baron, anything you want to plug? You got any videos in the pipeline there?
Yeah, I'm starting a Kickstarter for DM Foss boxer briefs. So stay tuned.
All right. That being said, appreciate everybody that's been out there in the live chat. And those who watch this in replay, appreciate you too. Leave a comment. Anything we talked about, anything you agree with, disagree with, think we left out, let me know. I always read the comments. And
I have a challenge for them. Best dad jokes. Leave them in the comments.
Yeah, we just had the quiz over on the big channel and on the Daily Gun Show channel. So if anybody wants to check that out, I'll throw a link. We just had Guns and Westerns. So about an hour's worth of audio quiz. I'll give you a spoiler. There's 2 of them that I didn't tell the answer to. So maybe there'll be some kind of after follow up with for people that want to answer those.
So I'll say, leave your dad jokes. Next week we'll vote on the best dad joke. And whoever wins, we'll send out a prize back. So hopefully everybody listened to the end of the chat to hear that.
You're going to have to clip this and release as a solo video so they know.
Send in your dad jokes, and we'll vote next week. And the winner, I'll send you out some stickers and whatever junk I can peel off of the workbench. Other than that, that's wrong. There we go. Yep. So hopefully see you next week, and everybody have a good night.